Gaudy stats. Good God, that's gaudy. Welcome to Gaudy Stats
with Ben Simmons.
What's on the menu, Benny boy?
Oh, yeah, babe. It's the Gaudy Stats podcast. Today, I welcome in my friend Samuel. Old friend, good friend. He's been on the pod a few times before. Today, we discuss Super Bowl parties. Now, not your ordinary Super Bowl party with the stale tortilla chips and, the lukewarm, disgusting, pasty bean dip. No, we're talking about a Super Bowl party tailored to the teams that are playing. Now, you might be like, what the fuck does that mean, Simmons? You'll have to wait and find out. I mean, or you could just read the description of the episode. And guys, I gotta apologize. The audio on this app is not great. I sent Sam some headphones. They didn't work, so he sounds really low in this pod. But we're gonna try to fix it for the next one. My apologies. But yeah, it's a big heaping serving of a podcast. A lot of fun. And with this, I think we're gonna have a little bit of food from Philadelphia and a little bit of food from New England. A little chowder with some of those little crackers on top and a little hot sauce. Ooh! And the chowder will have, whatever, oysters, shrimp, whatever the hell they want to put in there, whitefish. And then with the Philadelphia cheesesteak, it's going to be thinly sliced, traditional Philadelphia steak, whatever the hell they do it, with all that cheese on top. Oh boy! I'm so hungry right now. Haven't had lunch. Anyways, I'm losing my mind. I gotta go eat some food. So here's the convo. Hope you enjoy.
What's up, man?
Hey, man. What's going on?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you great. Yeah, we've already talked twice. Had a little technical difficulties.
Hey, I don't know what you're talking about. It's the first time I've been hearing from you. It's good to talk to you.
Oh yeah, it's the first time. Yeah. First time.
How have you been?
Hey, since the last two times, I've been pretty good. I brushed my teeth.
Wonderful.
Well,
I'm also doing great. Things are great down here in Texas. I figured it's been a few weeks since we had a discussion about Gaudy Stats and their significance.
Indeed.
So I figured it's time to renew the segment in the new year a bit.
Yes. I've missed you. It's great to have your voice in my ear again.
I wanted to talk to you about this Super Bowl themed, Super Bowl food themed, city themed party idea. We have mentioned this in recent conversations, but off air.
Yes.
And this idea was brought to me by my friend Anita. She brought this idea up to me close to 10 years ago now. And the idea is basically that when you have a Super Bowl party, the Super Bowl, maybe the most watched, definitely the most watched sporting event in this country on a year-to-year basis, right?
Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
People have huge parties. You got a lot of people who don't care about the NFL.
The advertising, the commercials.
Sure. Now her idea, which I don't know if she's the originator of this idea, but I give her credit for introducing it to me, was the way to get people who don't care about football or don't care about the game for whatever reason. The way to get them involved or interested in the party is to have food and drink that is tied to the two teams who are playing. And additionally, if people are interested in it, to do like at halftime, unless you like really want to watch the halftime show, to do like trivia just related to the two cities. So the first year we didn't do trivia, but the first year I can remember doing this, helping to organize a party like this was the year the Packers and Steelers won the Super Bowl. The Packers and Steelers played in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
The Packers won. We did. We made like kielbasa and pierogi, and you know these like Wisconsin. Somebody brought some like beer cheese and broth.
Oh, my mouth's watering. Oh, God, it's dripping on the floor. Oh, fuck, I almost slipped on my drool. Oh, fuck.
There's some other stuff in there. Beers, I don't remember. I think we definitely had PBR because of Milwaukee, because of the Wisconsin connection. The beers thing, I don't know. It's like you kind of.
Is Schlitz Pennsylvania? Is Schlitz Pittsburgh? Where is Schlitz?
It might be. I'm one of those people, like, I don't really care. I mean, I buy good beer sometimes, and craft beer, but you know, if you want to drink like Bud Light when you watch the game, I don't care. You know?
I do. Actually, I do care, Sam. I would look at somebody a little side eye if they cracked open a Bud Light and said, after one sip, said, "Oh, that's good." I'd be like,
no, I agree, but when you're watching football, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, that's true. I'm not an uber snob. I'm not an uber snob.
Here's what I say: drink what you want to drink. Now, I have the right to tell you that Bud Light tastes like piss, but if you want to drink piss for an entire football game because it's not gonna, because something isn't gonna have 8% alcohol by volume, and then you'll be in like have this horrible headache at halftime. It's like, who am I to say? Whatever, do what you want. I like being a food troll too, though. I like enraging people with food, with beer and food choices, just because it's like I think everybody should eat what they like. There was this whole movement on the internet a few years ago that was very like anti-ketchup, like don't put ketchup on anything.
That makes me mad. I'm a ketchup guy.
I guess my point is that I don't really care either way. But if you tell me it's going to make you mad to put ketchup on stuff, it does kind of make me just want to put ketchup on stuff more,
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I'm
sure it would ruin. I'm sure it would enrage a Philadelphian if I asked if I should put ketchup on a cheesesteak. And you know what? If I want to put ketchup on a cheesesteak, I will. Just like in the North, they call barbecues anything that involves grilling hamburgers and hot dogs is a barbecue. Right? Now, to a person in the South who does pulled pork or brisket in the case of Texas, the idea of a barbecue just literally being you can grill some hot dogs and burgers is ridiculous. But also at the same time, I don't care. Do what you want to do. Have fun with it.
Yeah, I tell you what's good is when you put a little hot sauce in the ketchup. Oh boy, that's delicious.
Oh yeah. There's a restaurant chain down here, Whataburger. The fast food chain that has a spicy ketchup.
Nice.
And it's basically like jalapeno ketchup.
Yeah.
It's fantastic with fries.
There's going to be a backlash to all the ketchup hate. It's coming.
Yeah, there probably will be. Anyway, though, my point with beer is I'm a little more flexible on that. And even if you want to drink something that it's not like a, some cities you're going to have trouble finding like a beer from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know what would have happened. It's a little easier with these two teams that made it, but I don't know what would have happened if like the Jags had made it. Like, I can't think off the top of my head. Actually, the official beer of North Florida is probably Bud Light.
I think like Keystone Light or what's a good malt liquor, like Old English maybe.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Old English, maybe some tall boys.
Oh, I can hear you so well right now. You sound really much better right now. I don't know what you did.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so
what, Sam? Let me ask you something, okay? I love this idea, and I love theme parties, okay? I had a lot of them in college. Some that nobody showed up to, maybe like two people. There was one infamous. It was like a classic. CEOs and office hose, just like a stupid. It was really like looking back on it, I'm kind of embarrassed. But like,
Yeah.
like nobody.
Those parties are not going to age well as we continue into the
Yeah.
21st century.
Yeah, it was very sexist. It was there's a lot of things wrong with it, but like everybody loved, like, people who were there were having a great time. But okay, anyway, that's a little aside. But I guess excuse me. I almost just shit, sorry. My headset like almost fell off my head. All right, well,
I could hear some. You sounded like you were in a cave for a second.
yeah.
You sounded like you had fallen down a well.
I think I was too demonstrative in my emotions. This is just a pod where a lot of things are going wrong.
Yes.
But okay, we'll cut that part out. Sam,
No, that's okay.
Sam, what I wanted to ask you was, what are the beers for these two squads? I want to get your, like, what's the food? Like, what is like,
Yeah.
what is the quintessential New England beer?
Well, I mean, the first one that comes to mind is someone who doesn't necessarily know about craft beer in New England as well, but the first obvious national beer would be Sam Adams, right?
Yeah.
Now, whether you like that or not, I guess the more important thing for what we're talking about is that Sam Adams is easier to get. It's easier to obtain.
Yes.
Like, it's just if you're in California or Illinois or Florida, that's easier to do. Now, I will say some of the brews that we had at your cousin Mike's wedding in Maine several years ago were delicious.
Allagash.
I remember Allagash is amazing.
Oh.
If you could get your hands on Allagash, that's great. I mean, also one where you have to watch the alcohol content, because it's like if you have like a real heady beer and it's the third quarter and you can't see anything.
That's when you got to double. That's when you got to double down, Sam. That's when you got to have more.
I feel like that kind of defeats the purpose of enjoying the game. But actually, counterpoint to that is all Eagles fans, because I don't think any of those people remember. I use the term people loosely because I'm not sure that Eagles fans are actually technically human beings, but I don't know how many of them remember Sunday.
Yeah, judging by some of the footage we saw, yeah.
I mean, absolute savages, Ben. It looked like footage from like Eastern Europe in the 1980s. It's like, you ever see like in the former Yugoslavia,
the
like,
fall of the Berlin Wall?
Or yeah, where there's just like smoke and tear gas and people have flares and fires in the crowd. I mean, this is what people. I think a lot of Americans tend to think, oh well, that's not something that happens in this country. Actually, it is something that happens in this country, and case in point would be Philadelphia, PA. The fans are savages. They're animals. They appear to have no ability to hold their liquor, or they do, and they just drink so much that they just totally lay waste to that tolerance. I respect the commitment. I'm also horrified by some of that behavior,
Indeed,
but also entertained by it.
Yes. I mean, you sent me a video of a man, and what Sam's talking about is just the bedlam that ensued when the Eagles destroyed, mangled the Vikings. I didn't see that coming. I thought it would be a close game, but there was fans running on the street. There was a guy who had put what is that, like some sort of cylinder construction.
It was like a traffic barricade.
Yeah, it was a traffic barricade on top of his head, kind of like I used to do when I was a kid, when I would put like a sleepover. We had sleepovers, and I put a sleeping bag on top of myself, and my friends would do the same thing, and it was actually really dangerous. We just like put the sleeping bag over our whole body, and then run into each other, and could easily have suffocated. But we did that, and then he was doing that. This guy was doing that in the street.
I was gonna say the difference. The difference, I would say, is that you were not doing that in downtown Louisville.
That's true.
Right.
It was so weird. He was just running around aimlessly.
I watched the clip at least 10 times. I do have a friend in college who did that and suffered an injury.
I don't see how you couldn't. I don't see how you couldn't. I mean,
you put your arms inside, and it's just you look like a traffic barricade with legs. Basically, I mean, it looks like that's a visual that always gets me. I will never not laugh at a man whose entire torso and head and waist, everything down to his knees is obscured by a traffic barricade, and then he just starts running at full speed.
Yeah, I'm kind of a visual gag, like slapstick guy still. I mean, I do have a taste for like the British humor, and like, you know, I do have some snobby comedy taste, but I gotta tell you, some slapstick, a guy just slipping and falling off a boat, or you know, that other video I think maybe you sent or somebody else sent, where all the Philadelphia fans are on the train, and this Philadelphia fan was running outside of the train trying to catch it, and he just smacks into a column in like the underground subway, like that. I doubled over in laughter. I couldn't stop. Couldn't stop myself.
Slapstick with me, it depends. I'm never one of those people who has thought that falling down is that funny or that getting hit in the nuts is that funny. But I think the traffic cone is fucking hilarious. And I also think like when people dress as mascots do things like that.
Yes.
Or when mascots get in fights, like actual fights, and start punching each other. I'm very pro mascot humor then. I guess that's what I'm saying.
I feel the same way. And Robin Lopez used to have this vendetta against mascots. He still might, but it was just hilarious. Like every game, you know, he would confront this mascot like before the game. It was almost like a WWF, WCW thing.
Whose mascot was that?
I mean, it was okay. So he got in fights with like all sorts of mascots. It wasn't just you know, he's played for he's been a journeyman of sorts. He's played for the Suns,
right,
the Bulls. Well, he's playing for the Bulls now. He played for the Knicks. But yeah, he would just get into it with whatever mascot was there that night. The mascot would kind of instigate it a little bit sometimes, but it was high comedy. It was just for laughs. I don't think he has a like a real sinister vendetta against them.
I've seen ones where mascots the people are actually in a fight, but they're still dressed up. And when they both have these dumb smiling masks on, and they're just punching each other, I think back to one in particular, which I'm sure somebody could find, where the Oregon Ducks got in a fight. It was like a brawl, and you know you got that goofy ass duck head on, and you're punching someone like you're in an MMA fight. It was good. It was quality stuff.
Yeah, it's absolutely hilarious.
Back to the Super Bowl party thing, though. So, in 2013, when the Ravens played the Niners, which I know is a touchy subject for you, I won't get into the game too much.
Oh, God.
The food part was a little tough to go around. I mean,
Chiapino, seafood, both of them. There's a lot of seafood on both sides, right?
We ended up doing like I think crab cakes and then those what are the potato chips? The Yuts, whatever they're called. Those Old Bay seasoning potato chips that Baltimore does. I think for San Francisco we may have done some kind of fish, maybe some
chowder,
sort of sort of kitschy rice-a-roni or whatever. I also did trivia though, where it was like trivia with with like related to the city of San Francisco. So we did like trivia on the earthquake, trivia on the show Full House, trivia on like E40 because they're extending it to Oakland and the Bay Area. In Baltimore, you have trivia on like The Wire or on Edgar Allan Poe or on stuff related to sort of early American history or on the Orioles or et cetera, right? This year, you got two cities sort of definitely steeped in history and which lend themselves well if you wanted to do sort of, you divide up into teams. I think we probably threw some money in and you do, and so you can talk, your material can range from the show Cheers to
Founding Fathers.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Yeah. The Founding Fathers to, all those Boston movies that are basically the same and have the same actors in them and the same plot, but they take place in different periods. You know, Boys to Men,
Oh,
The
yeah.
Roots, Meek Mill,
It's a lot there.
Dr. J, the Celtics. There's no shortage of things for trivia, I guess is my point.
There's a lot of music there. I didn't realize, but
Yeah. As far as House of Pain obviously belongs on par with all those things. Or not really, but you know, I think when you start to look at the food, I would say, even though this is not the Super Bowl matchup I wanted, I would say that food-wise, it's pretty good. I don't really know what we would have done, what you really do with Jags and Vikings. But leaving that aside for a second,
pickled fish for the Minnesota. Get some herring.
Like I said, I don't really know what you do with Jags and Vikings. But no, I mean, you know, I think here you got cheesesteak, you got roast pork. I mean, I guess with Philly you can find a craft. I think is Yingling Philly? I think it is. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I mean, that's fine.
I think so.
I'm sure there's people who don't like Yingling. Beer styles won't like it, but you can find it easier, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Dan or somebody else could point us to a better Philadelphia brewery. Boston, you know, same thing with Sam Adams, Allagash. Chowder, maybe like a giant tub of unseasoned Boston baked beans. You know, I don't know, just something to kind of really liven the party up. Anyway, so that's an idea for out there. You know how it's 12 days from the time we're recording this to plan that party. But that is just something that I think
I love it.
has encountered some success. The year that the Seahawks played the Broncos, the host of the party I went to made garlic fries, which I guess are kind of big in Seattle.
I didn't know that.
They were homemade and they were delicious.
Oh, was there weed there? Was there like a little bit of Mary Jane floating around? Because it's Washington.
There wasn't, but it was brought up at the time that those were the only two states, Colorado and Washington, where you could. I don't know, what is the law. The weed it just falls out of the sky and it's fine, and that's I don't know.
It's legal. State like it's legal for the states to sell it, but technically federally it's not legal. But I mean, with Washington, there's the weed culture. There's also just the grunge, like the music. There's so much music. I mean, like, were you guys playing some Pearl Jam?
We're playing
little Nirvana.
I was gonna say we were getting pumped up before the game with some Nirvana Unplugged.
Oh, it's such a good album.
I'm just kidding. That was the worst album to play before the Super Bowl that I can imagine. It is a great album.
It's dark. It's dark and it's sad. It's probably not a great pump up album, but
I don't think.
In the pounds where the sun don't ever shine. You know that song? It's like makes you want to start crying.
There's 10 of the 12 songs on there are about death and dying.
Yeah. Well,
but on the other hand, the NFL, you know, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's not such a stretch to have that overlap, right?
It's kind of a gladiatorial matchup. You know, you got these guys hitting each other at high speeds, violently, mercilessly. Maybe a little death injected in there. Might be just the thing the doctor ordered.
I need to get pumped up for this game. Alexa, play Lake of Fire.
Just get some Elliott Smith on loop.
It's like, where the bad folks go when they die. No, you know that one?
I love that one. A lot of those are like he did on that album. A surprising number of covers. And
dude, it's an awesome album. I'm not
so
good. It's actually my favorite. I like that album. I could listen to that more, and I enjoy it more than any three of the other Nirvana albums.
I mean, I'm not a big Nirvana. I mean,
nor am I.
I'm not a big Nirvana fan, but I love that album. I used to listen to it on tape. It was one of the first. It's one of the first albums I ever had as a little bugger. My brother gave it to me.
Tape, but it was worn out pretty good in the Chevy Impala. in the early 2000s.
Oh, I remember that car. Oh, I remember that.
No, it's a great album. Not sure I would play it on Super Bowl Sunday. Nevertheless, you know, we, so the Patriots have been in so many Super Bowls. It's like you almost sort of want some kind of diversity in terms of the teams, if for no other reason than to have a more creative party. I think, for example, for the Panthers and Broncos, you could do pulled pork barbecue. If you wanted to really get hardcore, you could do whole hog barbecue, which would take a lot of preparation and probably maybe more involvement than you would want. And then, you know, for Colorado, you can do Rocky Mountain oysters, right? Have you ever had a Rocky Mountain oyster, Chris? I don't know what you, Chris. Ben? I'm sorry.
Wow, what an insult. No, I'm joking. Wait, Rocky Mountain oysters, are we talking about, like, testicles?
We are. Deep fried bull testicles.
I've never had them, but hold on a second. I might have had a little bit of one time. I thought it was all right. It was okay. I mean, the texture and the crunch, yet chewy nature, kind of it disturbed me. Now I'm remembering. I had like somebody cut off a piece of one of a testicle and put it in my hand, and I put it in my mouth and started chewing. And the texture just threw me off, but the taste was on point. I like the taste.
Okay, well,
that's my review.
Your 10-second review.
It was earthy. It was an earthy taste.
Would you compare it? What meat would you compare it to?
I don't know, man. It was kind of like maybe like a sausage of some sort, like kind of a tightly wound, tightly bound sausage.
Is it gamey? Would you say it's gamey?
I would actually say it's a little mangy. For being honest.
I think that's worse.
I'm joking. I'm joking. No, I mean, the one I had was cooked pretty cleanly. It was like a clean fry. It wasn't bad, man. I mean, I could see myself kind of getting into them if I was so inclined. You are I know for a fact that you are a meat connoisseur.
Well.
And
listen, I don't want to brag, but no, I'm actually not really a meat connoisseur at all. But that's a nice compliment of you to pay.
Oh,
I mean, I like eating. I like eating food.
Yeah, I like to eat food because it keeps me alive.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. How get into some some Belichick.
I wonder what he eats. What do you think his?
We're just buffalo chicken dip. We'll look at it. You put the cream cheese in and put the buffalo sauce, and you got a chicken dip. That's a good party trick for this year. You can just be Bill Belichick. Welcome to the party.
You could just dress as Bill Belichick, like for the party. Like you just
I'm in
wear a hoodie
sweatshirt right now. I'll just cut the sleeves off. Just sleeves off this nice sweatshirt that I'm wearing, and just we have 7 seats. We have a couch and 3 chairs. And I'm sitting in this chair. You can make yourself at home. Beer in the fridge.
You stay in character the entire time. Like, okay, Sam, that's pretty funny. Like, you get your guests are like, all right, Sam, so you can stop talking like that. And you're like, sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. This is how I talk.
The smoke alarm is going off. It's a thing to evacuate. I think there's a fire. Overcooked some of these Boston baked beans, and there's a fire. We need to evacuate right now. And just stay in character the whole. It's like
just do it.
South Park episode. Remember the South Park episode where those reenactors refused to break character? It'd be like that. You remember that episode?
I haven't seen it, sadly. South Park is something I
South Park episode where someone. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say the episodes I've seen I've loved, but I haven't. I feel like it's such a beast. Like I want to watch it from the very beginning. I've seen the movie, which I thought was hilarious, and I've seen little clips, but I I've never really gotten into it, but tell me about that episode.
Well, so in the episode, they go to this like historical reenactment place, a la, in Kentucky where we grew up. It would be like Shakertown or whatever, right? Where you have people in character from like the 18th or 19th century. And I can't remember, it's been like nearly 20 years since this episode was released, I think. But I can't remember if there's like a hostage situation or like somebody just starts shooting and threatens to like kill everyone at this like place. But all the main characters in South Park are there, and they're trying to get these reenactors to like call the police. And these reenactors refuse to break character. So like they hand them a phone and they're like, "What is this device? I don't know what this is." And they're like, "There's a killer outside. You have to call the police." And they refuse to like acknowledge anything out that comes after like 1820. It's high comedy. Anyway, so you could do that. You could do that, but with Bill Belichick.
No, I think it's a chance. It's a kind of theme party where you can go nuts. I mean, someone could dress as Tom Brady. Someone could dress up as Nick Foles. Nick Foles is going to be a hot costume.
Now the Tom Brady costume, you go around to the party and you have water and you just tell people that when you pour it into their glass, it turns into gold. Is that the Tom Brady costume?
No, I think the Tom Brady costume would consist of you have to dress up maybe in his football uniform, or like I don't know what he works out in, like TB12 gear, and then you.
Well, that's what I mean. He believes in alchemy, right? So like I think it's important to really emphasize his personality, and I put that in quotes because Tom Brady doesn't really have a personality.
Wow.
But like it's important.
Wow.
It's important to emphasize that he believes in pseudoscience, right?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say that he's got like a keg of bone broth strapped to his back, and that would be what you would bring to the party. Is just like a big old keg of bone broth and a bunch of solo cups, and people just drink out of it. You could even spike it to put a little vodka in there. So you have like the bone turkey broth with vodka. Perfect.
Yeah, it would be a delicious hors d'oeuvre for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Part of that ESPN story, they mentioned how one of the things that his trainer emphasizes, by the way, is that you shouldn't get hurt based on the sport that you play. It's not the sport's fault that you get hurt. It's about how you train and about like how you stretch and stuff, and how flexible you are. He could. I'm wondering. Do you think he said that to Gronk after the game on Sunday? Like, listen, Gronk, if you had just stretched better and listened to my method, then your head would have recovered from the helmet to helmet shot that you took that knocked you out of the game.
He should have stretched. He should have stretched his brain. He didn't stretch his brain. Big mistake. Classic mistake.
Oh God!
And there was somebody who was hit by a car recently where I live in Portland. He didn't stretch his back well enough, and his back was broken. If he had stretched his back, and his back never would have been broken. Sam.
Listen, Ben, we're joking about this, but there is a non-zero chance that you could convince Tom Brady that brain stretching is a thing.
Yeah. Well,
I think if you emailed him and offered and said that you had worked under Alex Guerrero in the past, and that you had like a foolproof method for how to like increase your cognitive flexibility, and it would help your on-field performance, I feel like you could get Tom Brady to buy that based on what I've read.
Well, I think you're right. And it's funny. The funny thing is, I was sent an article. I'm not going to say who sent it to me. It's a family member. All right, it was my dad. But he sent me this article from the New York Times about stretching your face and to create like more like a fuller looking face, like these stretch and like the exercises. I think there was like a little video. I had to like close the tab. I couldn't. It was just too cringy. But the video, this guy is making all these really bizarre facial expressions. And he's like, yeah, this is going to make your face fuller and rosier, and your cheeks are going to be fuller. and it's just it was absolutely bizarre. So that's one step away from stretching your brain. So it's coming, Sam.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
coming, buddy.
look, Brady and Belichick costumes are fair game. You know, but have fun with it, right? I mean, that's what have fun at the Super Bowl party. You know, we didn't even. By the way, we didn't even talk about the most amazing. My personal favorite bit of Philly post game footage, which was watching someone drive an ATV up the Rocky Stairs near the Art Museum in Philly. No way in hell that person's sober. Just like someone. The video. My words can't do the video justice. It was just a glorious out of control video, and
Like the irony of that, like the irony of driving up that long flight of stairs in an ATV instead of running, which is what Rocky did, as his culmination of all that training he did, all that physical exertion, all the exercise, running up to the top, and then some guy just gets in an ATV, drunk guy, and drives up to the top. It's a slap in the face to Rocky.
But it's also amazing. I saw another picture of a man and a woman in a romantic pose, kissing, and in the background there are three guys, like one in a McNabb jersey and one in a Wentz jersey, who are peeing on the side of an alley. Did you see that?
No.
Listen, and I don't. I mean this I mean this sincerely. There is something admirable about how Philly earnestly embraces, just as a fan base, just being trash. I actually admire it.
Wow. You are not holding back here, Samuel. You're giving it to him.
Listen,
I like it.
Listen,
It's like a pit bull.
I want you to name me another fan base who would do the things that you saw happening. Did you see the tour bus being not the tour bus, the Vikings bus being pelted with stuff on the way in and out? People were throwing whole beers and against the bus. I saw they were throwing whole beers and people dressed in Vikings jerseys on the thing in. I mean, look, these are savages, and also they are America's team for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah,
that is how much America hates the Patriots.
Yeah, well, nothing was worse than when that guy, the Cleveland, I guess it was the Cavaliers when they won. The guy eating some shit, just like the guy eating some shit.
I did see that.
Yeah.
By the way, I think our friend Dan, I don't think he would dispute anything I'm saying. I mean, it's part of what makes Philly fans so famous and so lovable in some ways, is that they are unmoored psychos and
lovable psychos.
That's how they behave, and that's fine, And if they're going against the Patriots, America is going to have to hitch their wagon to these lunatics and hope that they can prevail. Yeah,
it's going to be an interesting game. I'm excited. I mean, that Eagles defense is nasty. I'm glad it's going to be indoors. I'm glad the NFL has given up on that stupid outdoor experiment. And the one year they did it was when the best offense in NFL history had to play in 20-degree weather. That was fun, wasn't it? I remember we talked about that, and you brought that up, and I had forgotten about that, and it's a damn shame. It's a real damn shame.
Look, just to revisit that quickly. Not saying that the Seahawks wouldn't have won that game anyway, but I would have liked to have seen the Broncos offense get to play in an environment where most Super Bowls are played.
I agree.
Right?
Hey, I agree with you. All right.
So,
so back to your Super Bowl party thing, okay? Because I feel like the crown jewel of the party is going to be the cheesecakes. The cheesecakes. The cheesesteaks. Oh man, I have a little bit of a sweet tooth these days. Maybe I do want a cheesecake.
But Freudian slip there.
Yeah. The cheesesteaks.
Philly cheesecake.
Philly
Yeah,
cheesesteak.
no. Cheesesteaks, amazing. Porchetta, right? The roast pork sandwiches that you can get in South Philly.
Oh, I haven't had those. I don't know what that is.
Delicious. You know, like I'm sure that the cheesesteak that I would attempt to make, if I order it from a place around here, there's a couple places that Philly people run and they founded here that would serve a real nice, I think, pretty close to authentic cheesesteak. If I attempted to make my own, I'm sure I would just enrage and offend Philadelphia fans with what I would or would not include. But yeah, look, man, cheesesteaks are really delicious. I've actually, and this is going to, speaking of offending people, I've actually had a chicken cheesesteak before with like chopped chicken, also incredibly delicious.
Ooh. Yeah, the purists will be mad at you, but that sounds good to me.
I don't like mushrooms. Just I don't really care for mushrooms at all, so I don't eat them. But everything else in a Philly cheesesteak, like the cheese whiz or the cheese sauce, the chopped meat, the marinated or grilled onions and peppers, and you put that all in some bread. I mean, you just can't. It's it's always 6 degrees of New Orleans when I come on the show, and it's like having a po' boy in New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with putting quality ingredients in between two not even really slices of bread, within a loaf of bread.
Yeah, it's a lot. The only thing I have a problem with the po' boy, don't get me wrong, I love the po' boy sandwich. A lot of times there is too much bread.
What are you saying about the po' boy?
There's too much bread sometimes, man.
I think so too.
Well, and you know what? Like the po' boy,
it's a heavy meal.
Yeah, it's heavy. And the original po' boy, I think it's hilarious. When they used to give out where it got its name, I think wasn't the first po' boy just mashed potatoes and gravy on bread, and it was just like a really filling sandwich, you know, that they just give out to people.
I don't know that for a fact.
Well,
just imagine,
in my mind, that's what it is.
Man, if the Saints had made the Super Bowl, I wouldn't even care. I would just make all. You bring like a king cake. You bring etouffee. You bring jambalaya. You bring gumbo. You serve like sazerac.
Oysters.
Maybe some oysters. Oysters Rockefeller.
Oh shit.
Bananas Foster. I don't know why I'm doing this like I'm from Queens.
Yeah. Hey, a little bananas Foster, a little jambalaya. Okay, a little po' boy over here. All right.
I guess it is a slight tribute because that New Orleans accent is insane, and I still don't understand.
I can't do it.
It's like New York, but then it'll kind of slip into, oh shit, you're from Louisiana. Never mind.
Get someone
you're not from New York.
Jambalaya. Yeah. I can't do it.
You know, Main Justice. Oh, you gonna have some Main Justice, boy.
I can't do it. You do a better one than I mean, I'm not great with accents, except for like a really bad English accent.
I'm just imitating that SNL sketch where the Main Justice sketch that we watched in New Orleans with the alligator as the judge.
Oh God, that was so with Charlie Day. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. You could serve po' boys. You could serve so much good stuff. Shrimp.
Yeah, it's a shame. It would have been seafood. All you can eat seafood there with all the New England things, and also it would have been fun because of different types of seafood. You know, you have kind of like, well, I was gonna say a cleaner, healthier seafood on the New England side, but that's not really true because you have the chowder, you have lobster with butter, and all kinds of other things.
The Chiefs Panthers Super Bowl would be fun too because you'd have two very different and distinct types of barbecue.
Yeah.
You'd have the sort of pork-based pulled pork sandwich, whole hog kind in North Carolina, which is a very vinegary-based sauce. And then you'd have KC, which is more of that sort of thicker molasses-based sauce, and ribs, right? They're known for their ribs. Carolina doesn't really do ribs as much, but you'd have two very distinct kinds of barbecue on that kind of thing.
That'd be nice.
Like I said, Jacksonville, I don't know. I think Jacksonville, you would just have to, just sort of revert to like standard football food and just go like eat wings and drink light beer. Because I don't really know. What is Jacksonville?
Like alligator, maybe? Just fry up an alligator?
Actually, you know what? That's a good call. Maybe, or like seafood, I guess. But
Yeah.
um,
There's probably something they're known for. There's probably, you know how it is, like in like towns or even like obviously in cities. There's always a dish. Like in Louisville, it's the hot brown.
well,
You know?
I was gonna say I mentioned on Twitter that I want to make a hot brown and then send it to all the Philly friends I have from college and be like, what do you guys think of my cheesesteak? Just to get their blood boiling.
Hot browns are delicious, and they're just so rich.
They're unquestionably weird though and sloppy.
Yeah,
But
I like that.
If you had told me when at the outset of when someone came up with that it would become this like dish that would become tied to our city, I would have been like, all right, well that's not a good sign for our city then. But you know, it has stood the test of time. When made right, it is delicious.
Okay, let's explain what it is, because some people might not know exactly what it is.
Sure. Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to do my best, but I might leave out some elements. It's been a while since I've had one. So you get like a small casserole dish, right? Like a square, usually. You put like a big piece of Texas toast or some sort of rich bread. Is that right? Underneath, on the bottom.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think it's 2 because I think it's technically an open-faced sandwich.
Right? Yes, like a gigantic, super unhealthy open-faced sandwich. Then you put some nice, thickly sliced turkey on top of that.
Yep.
And then you put some bacon, some nice peppery, rich smoked bacon or whatever kind of bacon you want. I mean, I'm sure there's like a type of bacon that they say is traditional, but bacon. Right. Then you get some beefsteak, tomato, nice ripe tomato slices. Put those. Do you wait to put that on and put that on at the end? Maybe you wait to put that on the end. But
yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't remember. I know that I feel like your order is correct.
Okay.
Like doesn't the bacon go last? Or maybe it doesn't.
Maybe you're right. yeah. I can't even remember exactly. I think I've made it one time, and we
are proud and knowledgeable Louisvillians here.
So what makes it so unhealthy is this Mornay sauce that is basically just like a super deluxe nacho cheese sauce. But high end. I mean, it's not like it's not Cheese Whiz here, people.
Right.
And you just flood the whole casserole dish with that, and then maybe put some more bacon on top, or maybe there's probably like a finishing touch that I'm not.
Yeah, it's sort of a sharp cheddar kind of thick type sauce.
Oh,
by the way,
so
one
good.
of the funniest things I've ever seen. I can't remember where I was or when this was, but I saw someone at a restaurant then attempt to turn a hot brown into a closed space sandwich, and it went about as well as you would think that would go.
Was this at Hardee's? Because they have those like disgusting sandwiches they're trying to make these days.
It was not at Hardee's. I can't remember where it was, but it was like watching someone try to eat peanuts with the shells on them. Basically, they folded it over. That. And like they were using their hands, and the bread is all soggy.
Oh,
it's already
God.
just like, and they picked. I couldn't look away. It was horrifying. The hot brown is a delicious meal, and definitely different from a cheesesteak, but both delicious in their own right.
Both are sloppy and cheesy. I remember I had a hot brown at Cafe 360 one time with our mutual friend Gordo, and this was a long time. This was a while ago, and it was like 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. or something, and it was a mistake. I ordered this hot. I mean, it was good, but it was just my heart just when I got home, my heart was beating so fast from the hot brown and from all the beer, and I was sweating. I was sweating as I was lying in my bed. And all I could do was just shake my head and say, "You did it to yourself. You did it to yourself."
Yeah, no, I
Simmons."
mean middle of the night sweats based on meat and dairy are not usually not a good look or a good way to go. But I've been there. I will say too about the hot brown. I think it's the kind of thing where you have to have someone actually try it because I have described it to non-Louisvillians before, and when I explain it to them, they're just like, no, thank you, or no, pass. But then if you put it in front of them and just told them to use their fork and their knife and eat it, then they love it. If they love those ingredients anyway, they're probably gonna love this dish.
Well, I think you're exactly right. And for me, I mean, I used to be known as the casserole king. I would make a lot of casseroles. Okay.
Okay, time out. What were the years that you were known as the casserole? Do you have a casserole king career? Like on Football Reference? Like what year? What year to what year?
Well, I'm kind of on hiatus right now. I might come back, but in my prime, I would say 2007 to like 2013. That was when I was really into it. I would make tuna casseroles, make chicken and rice casseroles, a lasagna.
So you had the same length. You had the same length of career as the casserole king as like a typical NFL running back.
This is true. And I usually would make them sometimes just for myself, like a solo casserole just for one guy. And it was disgusting. It was I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of it, Sam. I'm not. But I will say that I think casseroles are really criminally underrated.
Okay. Yeah, no, look, I don't have a strong opinion on them either way. I think a good lasagna can be delicious. I have very formed opinions on what constitutes a good lasagna, but and not everybody's going to agree. But I mean, it really comes down to if you like the ingredients in the casserole, you're probably going to like it. I know that's like not that profound, but you know.
So is the hot brown a casserole? I think it's a casserole. That's why I brought it up. As it seems like a casserole to me. It's like it's kind of a unique casserole, but
I'm not sure it technically is, just because you don't really put it in an oven, do you?
Yeah, you do. You cook it in the oven. Yeah, and it's usually cooked in a casserole dish, and you eat it with a fork and knife. It has a lot of.
I've never tried to make one myself, so I guess I just thought that all those ingredients were prepared hot separately and then put on the plate. So look at this. I'm learning something on the Gutty Podcast. I didn't know that.
Well, there's people do it different ways, and there might be a way that they do that. Like somebody might cook theirs that way. That's the joy of cooking, as they say. That's the famous cookbook. But
Julia Child.
Yeah, is that Julia? Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah,
the art of French cook. No, maybe that's not Julia Child. I don't know.
Well,
we've gone from what have we covered so far? We've covered Julia Child. We've covered Nirvana Unplugged.
Yeah.
Philly
sports fans.
We've talked about hot browns. We've talked about Philly sports fans. We've talked about the time that you ate a testicle of a bull.
Maybe it might have just been a testicle. I didn't tell you what it was.
That's true. You just said testy. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a testicle.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that about hot browns. Oh, look, I think they're not actually one of my favorites, but I do like them and I will eat them. When I think of like,
what's your favorite food? What's your favorite food? I don't think you've ever told me. Is it barbecue?
My favorite dish, like if I could have.
Yeah.
Is it like
if
like a last meal kind of thing?
Yeah, if you go outside and you fuck this world. I hate everything. I'm gonna take this butter knife and I'm gonna stab somebody in the eye, and I'm gonna go on death row, and then they give you your last meal. What would you ask for?
Wow, this took a dark turn.
You kill a man with a butter knife. It takes you about 30 minutes. It's really gory and it's disgusting.
Okay. Listen. Let me revise this timeline. Let's say that I get caught passing bad checks, and I'm old, and I go to jail, and I just end up dying in jail for a white collar crime. I prefer that to be stabbing someone in the eye, a la the television show Oz,
Yeah, it's a
with,
little gruesome. Sorry, that's a little gory. But hey, we have the explicit thing on our podcast now, so we have to have some dark things. We have to purposely inject R-rated material into the pod, even if it doesn't belong. We just have to find a way to stick it in there. Violence and cursing and everything. So that's all I'm doing.
Right. Hey, to answer your question though, like my favorite meal on earth, and this is look, this is obviously extremely subjective, but my favorite absolute thing to eat is my mother's fried chicken. She makes unbelievable fried chicken, and she got the recipe from her mother and in Western Kentucky and tweaked it. And we have fried chicken with usually with mashed potatoes and green beans and rolls.
Oh, it sounds so good. Oh my god.
That's my favorite meal.
And so just so everybody knows, like we're talking about this is Kentuckian. Your mom's from Kentucky. Kentucky fried chicken. Kentucky has tradition of fried chicken. Go ahead. Just wanted to make sure everybody knew that.
No, yeah, I mean, and you know, it's kind of probably, I don't even know what it would be analogous to, because there's not many other restaurant chains, I guess, that I think of. But it's like, yeah, I've been asked before about KFC, and it's like, well, not really, you know.
But there's like little like hole in the wall places in Louisville that have amazing fried chicken.
No, exactly. That's what I mean, though. It's like fried chicken is such a thing in not just Kentucky, the South, but in Kentucky specifically, that like KFC is what it's like what someone else thinks that we eat, and we don't eat that. Like that is exported to you so that you think, you know, just like anybody, like, right? I mean, nobody's gonna eat like nobody would eat a, like, you know, it's like asking like if you ask someone from Philly, hey, that Jersey Mike's cheesesteak, you like that? Is that good? Right? And I'm sure the Jersey Mike's cheesesteak.
Jersey Mike's sucks, man. I hate Jersey Mike's.
Well, it might be better than the KFC though. Would it? Maybe it's not. I don't know.
Wait, hold on. Is Jersey Mike's? That's like the sub place, right? That's like it's a chain of sub.
Not Jimmy John's though.
Oh,
not Jimmy John's.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't like Jersey Mike's. I don't like it.
Jimmy John's is the one that's like they make it in 3 minutes or whatever, and it's not that good. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. That would be my favorite meal.
That sounds great, man.
Yeah.
Some homemade fried chicken. I could go for that right now. I'm gonna have lunch after this.
Yeah. Oh, but you know, like
munch on that.
Like always evolving food taste. I try and like expand. There's stuff that I really don't like, and that even when I've tried, I just don't like it. As you know, I mean, I don't eat any seafood, for which I am judged severely by.
I'm trying not to judge you right now. I'm trying not to. It's really hard.
I don't like seafood, but you know, a lot of people that I know who I agree with taste bud wise on a lot of other dishes. A lot of those people really do like seafood. Yeah. So, you know, I mean, I know, like, I've tried it and I don't prefer it. I mean, I would say since I graduated, here's a question. Let me pose a question to you. What food do you think, since you graduated from college, is there a food, like into your 20s and beyond, is there a food that you feel like you have really taken a liking to that you did not like? Forget as a child, because everybody expands their palates beyond when they're a kid. But like even like age 16, 17, 18, when you were in high school, is there a food that you feel like you didn't know anything about it or eat it at all, and now you just like eat it all the time? Or avocados. Or maybe not all the time. Interesting. Right?
Guacamole. I mean, I knew of avocado. I mean, obviously it's been around, but I think it's, you know, our culture, you know, all about like the avocado toast and all these things. Avocado has elevated itself. People love it.
It's become like a weird sort of status symbol almost.
Yeah, but like I'm obsessed, Sam. Like I eat like 2 or 3 a day sometimes.
Really?
I eat them excessively, to the point where they're considered relatively healthy food. The way I eat them, they might not be that healthy for me, but I go nuts. I go nuts. I eat, I'll eat guacamole for lunch. I'll eat it for breakfast. I'll eat it. I use it as a condiment with like different types of meat. I make avocado salsa. I do the avocado toast. I put it on sandwiches.
Right.
I can't get enough. I don't know what it is about it. I think it's rich. It's got a unique flavor. But that's definitely that's the first one that came to mind is just avocado dishes and all. It's not really a dish. It's more of a condiment usually. It's more of a sauce or a dip.
Right.
But God damn, it's good, man. And I've even had like deep fried avocado, and that was delicious too.
Now, I'm gonna upset you here, but I actually don't care for avocados either. So I'm sorry. I don't listen. Hey,
no, it's fine. It's fine.
That means more for you, right?
No, exactly. No, like it's just mo. It's just mo for me, as Devin the Dude said. It's just mo for me. It's just mo for me.
Exactly right.
From Houston.
Devin the Dude, Houstonian. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love that guy.
I think for me it's Tex-Mex and Mexican food.
Oh, I'm with you. I'm with you right there, man. I love Tex-Mex.
Listen, Louisville has become and was, for its size. I mean, we love Louisville, and we have an extreme bias that should be noted. Mm-hmm. But I think even just objectively speaking, and I mean this is a lot of times the case since we left town and since we have no longer lived there, Louisville has become an incredible food city.
It really is.
There are places that pop up, whether you're talking in the Highlands or on Frankfurt or in Butchertown or in Nulu or in the East End, out on a strip mall off of Shelbyville Road somewhere where there's like a really good Indian or Ethiopian restaurant. Louisville has become an amazing, amazing food city with a lot of really good, diverse options. And
Southside Vietnamese food.
Southside, absolutely. Yeah, man. There's a couple of Mexican and Central American places around the track, around Churchill Downs, that are solid. But
it's a great food town.
I think moving to Texas, I think just I didn't really eat as a child. I didn't really like many vegetables at all, other than like carrots maybe. But I love like grilled onions and peppers.
Oh,
and
caramelized
any
onions.
Any kind of fajita meat, whether it's skirt steak or marinated chicken. Refried beans.
Yep.
Good cooked rice.
Yep.
Tacos are just like
tacos.
I mean, in some ways you could argue they're just like the perfect food because you get marinated meat, you get like a corn tortilla. I love how, as we evolve as a society and as, ideally at least half of the country attempts to embrace multiculturalism and the idea that there are a diverse group of people in this country.
More than half.
Well, I would like to think so. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So let's call it more than half. Sure. But like you get a combination of cuisines. I'm sure there's a lot of that in Portland where like there's people who will do. Now sometimes the fusion things don't work at all, right?
A lot of fusion in Chicago too. A big fusion city.
There's some Korean Mexican fusion here where they do you do like Korean tacos where it's like
so good.
Kimchi on a taco or the bulgogi beef and you put that in a corn tortilla or in a flour tortilla. It's delicious, right? And I think delicious. Foods, excuse me. I think those are foods that, frankly, Ben, I wasn't open-minded enough, and I didn't have access enough to them as a kid, just because, a couple of reasons. I think number one, when you don't have a car, you can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
It's harder, but also I think as you grow up, your taste buds can change, and ideally you try new stuff, and you find new things that you like that maybe either you didn't hear about, you had never heard of, or you had heard of and you just didn't like the way it looked, or you thought it smelled weird. But then when you eat it, it's like, oh, actually, no, that's really good.
Mm.
That's the way with several kinds of food, I would say, that I have been. This has turned into a very earnest and serious food discussion.
Well, I gotta tell you,
I apologize.
Oh, don't! Are you kidding me? This is what, man. You know how it is with this. We get off on tangents. It's a beautiful thing, and this is. No, I love talking about food, and I could do it for like 3 more hours probably. In terms of like dishes, I'll just like I'm just gonna talk about quickly the kind of, if we're talking about like dishes, like I love Mediterranean like shawarma with some really nice some kebabs, like some nice hummus, like some really velvety hummus, and like some hot fresh pita. That's like, I've been loving that for years, and that maybe that's a better, because avocado is just kind of a thing. It's not really a dish. It can be used in so many different ways.
I think avocado counts.
Yeah, and also sushi with the avocado. Oh God, so good.
Oh yeah.
God.
Okay.
Oh man, I'm getting so hungry just talking about all this food.
Any kind of dessert that you like that you maybe didn't used to like?
This is gonna sound kind of silly, but peanut butter and banana. Now you're gonna be like, okay, what are you, like a 5-year-old kid? But
no, that's the Elvis sandwich, isn't it? Or what,
yes. Well, okay. So Sam, I went through this phase. This is in 2007, 8, 9, where I was eating these things called fluffernutters.
Yep.
And
remind me what that is. I've heard of it.
It's marshmallow fluff.
Okay.
With peanut butter. Okay. So actually, let me back up a little bit. Okay. So you have 2 pieces of white bread, and there's a bunch of different ways you can make them. Okay. You can grill them. You can put them in the oven. But it's peanut butter, marshmallow fluff, which you can buy at the store. It comes in a jar, extremely healthy, and some.
Yeah.
So you can do crunchy peanut butter. You can do smooth. So that you can just do that and put the 2 pieces of bread together, and that's a sandwich. You can just do that, or you can grill it, or you can you put it on the flat top, or you can put it in the oven. But I like to add some sliced banana in there. Put that on there, and then you can drizzle a little chocolate. It's a little chocolate syrup on there, and that's a delicious sandwich. But when I brought up the banana and peanut butter, I've been trying something lately that I've tried in the past, but I've been getting more into it now. Is you slice up a bunch of ripe bananas, okay? You freeze them, all right? You freeze them. Then you have some nice peanut butter. I've been using creamy lately. You put that in the fridge, okay? So you have some cold. You put it on the top shelf so it gets nice and cold, the peanut butter. All right. You take it out, okay? You have a food processor. You put the frozen banana in the food processor. You put let's say you put 5 bananas worth of frozen, all chopped up into the food processor. All right.
Right.
And then you put
like a smoothie almost.
You'll see. It's like ice cream, all right? You put the peanut butter in there, and you got to be a little patient. You got to kind of pulse it a little bit, and then eventually, Sam, it turns into this creamy, delicious ice cream. It's all natural too, so it's like you don't even have to add any sugar because the bananas are so sweet. And you can put some chocolate syrup on there. It comes out just like ice cream. It's absolutely delicious. I eat it for breakfast. All right, I go nuts. I go absolutely nuts with it.
So I love peanut butter. I don't. Again, I feel like I'm going to just reveal my terrible taste. I actually don't like bananas.
That's okay. Hey, different strokes for different folks, man.
If you like that sounds good.
You're like, I hate bananas, but that sounds great, man.
I think the most important thing, I think experimenting with food and finding new shit that you like is good, because food, especially if you have repetitive or monotonous days, sometimes food can be interesting and you can look forward to it. I mean, hot sauce is another thing.
Oh, I love hot sauce.
but I'm very, I wouldn't say I'm like a hot sauce snob, but I am particular. You know, I don't like hot sauces that overwhelm all the other flavors. You know, that's always been my issue. Even though I do like, you know, like a sort of more well-known mainstream, and I don't use that as a pejorative, as a derogatory term.
Frank's?
But I was gonna say sriracha.
Oh, I like sriracha too.
Like, I like sriracha, but my issue with sriracha is that once you put, like, if you put sriracha into a bowl of Thai food, it becomes like the sriracha show, right? And all of a sudden, it's just like a bowl of sriracha.
It's a good
I remember
point.
one time, one of the dumbest things I've ever done was I put a bunch of sriracha on this delicious bowl of pad Thai at a restaurant, and it was a terrible decision, Ben, because pad Thai on its own has all of these wonderful, delicious flavors.
Oh yeah.
And I just ruined it completely by just like using half of a bottle of sriracha. So I prefer sauces that complement whatever flavors are already existing. Along with that, I will say, in terms of dessert, and sort of along that same line, and the Mexican Tex-Mex theme, I really have come to take a liking to like Mexican chocolate. And I first learned about this through drinking like Mexican hot chocolate. But any kind of Mexican chocolate cake or Mexican chocolate dessert, I just love. And the elements of the parts of that are different than normal chocolate, for anyone who might be wondering, is that, I mean, it's usually done with a darker chocolate, not quite as strong of a flavor. But that dark chocolate you then add like a little bit of cinnamon and a little bit of cayenne pepper to it. So it's actually like
that
chili.
Sounds lovely.
It's actually chocolate with like a chili aftertaste and like a kick to it.
Yeah.
And it's like basically, if you want to try to like make any kind of chocolate hot, it's delicious. So I would strongly recommend experimenting with that for the next time you're at a cafe or a restaurant. If there's some kind of thing that features cinnamon and chili combined with chocolate, check it out, because it's a really kind of unique and delicious flavor when it's done right.
I'm gonna try that out. I'm usually
anyway. This has been the Food Network podcast.
Well, oh man, I could continue talking to you about food, as I said, for a long time. But maybe we should circle back and just put a bow on the Super Bowl party discussion.
Yes.
So, just in case you know, the listeners have stuck with us through all this delicious food talk, and I'm gonna go crazy on some food after this pod. I haven't had lunch yet. Can't wait. But what? So someone wants to have their own party for this Super Bowl. Just maybe give us, if you don't mind, a few, or like a dish from each town, and like maybe some music, or
sure.
What do you got?
Well, Philly, I would go either cheesesteak or like a pork sandwich, like a roast pork sandwich. You can't go wrong with those. Boston, I mean, I guess you got to go with clam chowder because that's what they're known for. Although any kind of seafood would work.
Yeah.
You know, actually lobster rolls could work too. That lobster rolls might be more conducive to like game day food, right?
Yeah.
In terms of music, I don't know. That's kind of your
Dropkick Murphys.
There will be a lot of Pats fans playing Dropkick Murphys.
Is that what they're? Is that the name of the band? Did I say that right?
Yeah, that's what. There's like Dropkick Murphys, and that's shipping up to Boston, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever hear that song that they play at the Patriots Stadium whenever the Pats score? You know the song I'm talking about, where it's like in the background, it's like.
Oh yeah.
It's so awful.
Yeah, I've heard that.
It's such a corny and awful song. I didn't think I could hate the Patriots anymore. And then they just keep offering new ways to make me hate them.
You really. So just so the viewers. Oh my God, the listeners know.
The viewers.
Yeah, because I guess some people we've gotten some YouTube subscribers recently, so maybe some people are watching / listening. You and the Kimpster, who's been on this pod multiple times now, you guys got into an epic back and forth text. I wish I could have saved it. I took some screen grabs, but then I just gave up because it wasn't on WhatsApp. So next time you guys do that, do it on WhatsApp because then you can actually save the whole conversation. But it was absolutely hilarious. You guys, you have this, Samuel. You hate the Patriots, my friend. It was fascinating and hilarious and wow. Just explain why you hate the Patriots so much. And I don't like them that much either. But just talk to me. Tell me what about is it the mumbling Belichick? Is it the bone broth swilling Tom Brady? What is it?
Look, without getting, I mean, first of all, Kemp, our friend Chris, he can't go 10 seconds when he talks about football without referring to the Patriots. I mean, it's impossible.
Tom Brady,
everything always connects back to the Patriots. You know, he has a vendetta against ESPN, against the mainstream media because of Deflategate, whatever, right? Look, a lot of it is sort of hashtag embrace debate and winding Kemp up because it's so easy to wind him up. You know, I don't think there's any really arguing with what the Pats have done. I have sort of different kinds of opinions on how we classify individual players in a team sport, and he loves to just put a quarterback against a quarterback, and you know, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I think that it tends to be a lot more complicated than that in terms of, you know, it's a team game, context matters, having arguably the best coach of all time matters, right? Now, this is always read as, oh, so you think that Brady and Belichick are overrated. It's not that I don't think that they're overrated, Ben, but there are literally a couple of plays you can point to that, had they gone a different way, the narrative on the Patriots would be different.
Yeah.
The fact that they've been caught multiple times breaking the rules does not endear themselves. They don't endear themselves to the rest of America. Full disclosure, I also lived with 3 Bostonians in college in years where the Patriots and Red Sox and then Patriots won again. And I have never in all the cities I've lived in and the people that I've met a whinier bunch of fans than the Patriots fans that I live with. This is, by the way, when they were winning. They were winning. So, you know, part of it is personal experience. I mean, you know, I think that they are a very good team and a very successful franchise. But with, like, a lot of franchises that are in that mold, a lot of what they do well is just being relentless. Like, I look back to Alabama winning the national championship in college football, and they had a comeback that was similar to the comeback that the Patriots had, and they also have one of the best coaches in football in Nick Saban.
Yeah.
And Nick Saban and
in all of football or just college?
I know all. I would say all.
Wow.
I think it's a myth that when you start going down the pro coaching versus NFL coaching, NFL versus college coaching, I would put the top college coaches against the top pro coaches. And I think that the pro game is in some ways more complex, but when you get to NFL coaches 10 through 32, it drops off real fast. And then you're talking like, you know, like, name me a Jeff Fisher or
Hugh Jackson, who I used to like and now I hate. Yeah.
Right. Or I'm trying to think of someone else who was just like
Romeo Crennel. Formerly.
Romeo Crennel. Bill O'Brien is pretty mediocre, I would say. Like Mike McCoy, you know, Ben McAdoo. You know, it's just like, and college has more to pick from. But I think Nick Saban Nick Saban would never have gone to Alabama if he had gotten Drew Brees in 2006, if Drew Brees had gone to the Dolphins. And Drew Brees chose the Saints, and the rest is history, right? Nick Saban got tired of being in the NFL after 2 years. Had he stayed and had Drew Brees, I think he'd have multiple Super Bowl rings right now. He's an incredible coach.
Wow.
And, he's not to be underestimated. But like Belichick, Ben, if you give them an inch, they will take a foot. And do I think over the years that officials have handed games to the Patriots? No, I don't. That's not the reason the Patriots have won. But in close games where one or two little plays matter, there have been calls where if they go the Patriots' way, the Patriots will take advantage. And they deserve credit for part of that, right? Partially, they certainly deserve credit. You could make a very good argument that they should be 3-4 in Super Bowls, and that if Seattle hadn't passed on second down on the 2-yard line in the Super Bowl, that they could have won that Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
You could make an argument that if Atlanta had decided to run the ball in field goal range, up 8 points with 3.5 minutes left in the Super Bowl,
my God.
with a field goal kicker who had made 21 of 22 field goals indoors on the year in Matt Bryant, you can make an argument that
crazy.
The Patriots wouldn't have
everything that could go wrong in that game for Atlanta went wrong, and the Patriots capitalized on every single opportunity. But just that was like laughable. How it was just like some spirit infected the Falcons and just rendered their abilities like void or something. They couldn't do anything in the second half. That was just in the third and fourth quarter.
Listen, the Patriots deserve credit for coming back, but and Chris and I have butted heads on this. I think that is known nationally. That will be known. That is more known as a collapse than it is a comeback. That's just my opinion. Now, obviously, people disagree.
I think it's
but I think that will be known historically more as the Falcons blew a 28-3 lead, not the Patriots came back from a 28-3 deficit. You could argue of this Sunday, while the Jaguars' offense went into a shell, but they blew a play dead that shouldn't have been blown dead on that Deion Lewis fumble. And if it's not blown dead and it's a touchdown, then it's 27-10 with 10 minutes left in the game. Now, does that mean the Jags would have won? No, not necessarily. But given that their offense couldn't move the ball, it was even more important that they had a defensive touchdown taken off the board. So, again, this is not to say that Brady and Belichick haven't been, keys in one of the greatest dynasties in the history of sports. It's merely to say that context matters, and in a couple of different plays, which were as much about the other team screwing up as the genius of the past, which Chris hates to hear that, and he hates to have any credit detracted. But and just philosophically, I think it's just really hard to compare football players as individuals, just because it's such a team sport, and there are so many working pieces, and coaching is so much more, in a lot of ways, more important than it is in basketball, right? I just think it's a lot easier to compare individuals in basketball. And in football, I tend to groups. I tend to group quarterbacks in a sort of pod of elite quarterbacks. And beyond that, I don't really think ranking them there is any point, because Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees, in my opinion, are just as good as Tom Brady as quarterbacks. They don't have the accomplishments that Tom Brady did. If Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees both had Bill Belichick as their coach for 16 years, would they have more rings? I think that they would. Right?
That's interesting.
So, but I'm much more comfortable saying, okay, how does Karl Malone measure against Tim Duncan? Because it's just more, you play on both sides of the floor in basketball. You're less beholden to the organization around you, right? Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers have never played defense. They don't sign their offensive linemen. They are at the mercy of their organizations in a way that great NBA players often are not, right? And even just watching, you think about, like, obviously the Warriors are a well-oiled machine, and the Western Conference is not necessarily the best example, but maybe like in the case of the Thunder, right? Scott Brooks was a coach in the NBA Finals, right?
Yeah.
Tyronn Lue was the coach in the NBA Finals. In the NBA,
God.
I think it is more about individuals than about star players. This is not to say, by the way, there haven't been mediocre or okay coaches in the Super Bowl, because there have been. But I look at football differently than he does, and he wants it to be mano a mano. This guy versus this guy. Who's better? Who does this better? And there are just too many moving pieces and too much gray area and too many things that are beyond a player's control for me to say that definitively that a quarterback is better than another quarterback. So that's always been my stance. I would put Brady all time in a group of about 5 or 6 guys. And to me, ordering those guys is a waste of time, because it is so beholden to how good their defense was, how good their line was, what weapons they played, 1 or 2 plays in a game. In the case of Peyton Manning, Mike Vanderchat missing a field goal one year, right? It comes down to kickers. What if Tom Brady has Mike Vanderchat instead of Adam Vinatieri for 2 of those Super Bowls, right? So it's so subjective, and lots of people will disagree. And if you are paid to sort of demand who is the best, who has the most rings, who is the best, I mean, a lot of those people are going to say Tom Brady. And that's not how I view evaluating individual football players. And this really upsets our friend Chris. So that is my spiel, Ben.
Well, you're right. There's a clump of elite guys. Who knows? They're like
I would say Jay Fiedler.
Well, I was just gonna say, you stole my joke. Oh my God! I was gonna say there's no. I was gonna say there's a clump of elite guys, and then there's Jeff Garcia at the top. So Jeff Garcia is number 1, and then Jay Fiedler's number 2, and then you have guys like your Peyton Mannings, your Tom Brady's, your Aaron Rodgers is those type of guys. So
your Sample Wallace.
Yes, Wallace. Jay Fiedler, he had some good years. The old Jewish general, they called him, and
that's right.
He was great. He was great there for a while.
Dartmouth's finest NFL player.
That's
I
right.
don't know that. Maybe someone else from Dartmouth.
Well, probably another Ivy League school.
Yeah.
But okay, before we go, I'm just gonna name off. So when people are throwing their parties, their Super Bowl theme parties, as we've detailed, I'm gonna just name some quick bands. First from Boston, we got the band.
Okay, please.
We got the band Boston. We got Aerosmith, Pixies, Belle Biv DeVoe. Sorry, the Cars, Mission of Burma, the Mighty Mighty Bosstones, Lemonheads, Breeders. Now we're getting deep down. Oh, New Edition. There we go. Gangrene, Letters to Cleo, Till Tuesday. Haven't heard a lot of these. Powerman 5000. New Kids on the Block. These are all Boston. Okay, now let's go over to Philly.
I would spin a little Pixies, Where Is My Mind, on Super Bowl Sunday.
What's that?
The song Where Is My Mind.
Where is my mind?
Nothing gets me ready for football like the Pixies.
I used to be really into the Pixies. It's been a while.
I have no issue with them. I think it's funny to associate with them with Super Bowl Sunday. But listen, it's also ridiculous to associate trivia with the founding fathers on Super Bowl Sunday. So I think you should embrace the weirdness. Would be my advice.
Indeed. And okay, so for Philadelphia, we have the Roots. We've already talked about them. Sam, you're gonna like the second one, Hall and Oates, Sam.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Modern Baseball. Never heard of them, but I guess they're a big band now.
I'm gonna have Maneater or You Make My Dreams Come True blasting as I'm squirting ketchup all over my cheesesteak.
Oh God, it's a great image, great visualization there I just had.
Yeah.
Boys to Men, as you mentioned.
Oh yeah.
Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, old school. A really underrated band here, the Delphonics.
Mm-hmm.
More of like a not a band, but they're kind of like singers.
Yep.
Let's see, the War on Drugs, which I'm not a big fan. I've heard a little bit of their stuff. Our mutual friend Tyler likes them a lot. War on Drugs. Let's see, who else? The Stylistics, another great doo-wop kind of R&B outfit.
Isn't I think Beanie Siegel, isn't he from Philly?
You might be right. Beanie Siegel.
And Meek Mill. Not necessarily.
You're right. Beanie Siegel is from Philly.
Yeah.
And Meek Mill.
Just for the kids, if they want something more up tempo, I don't know.
For the kids. Yes, Meek Mill is from South Philadelphia. Indeed.
What about Bon Jovi? He's South Jersey. South Jersey counts.
Yeah, I think he's Jersey, right?
Yeah.
Let's see.
But who doesn't need to hear "Living on a Prayer" for the 10 millionth time?
Hold on, I got now. I really have to find out where Bon Jovi is from. God, I heard that so many times in freaking college. Yeah, he's from New Jersey. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, there's one
By
more.
the way, top two songs that will instantly make me leave a bar that involve a sing along. Usually with kids in their 20s.
Journey.
20s.
Journey.
Don't Stop Believing and Living on a Prayer.
Oh God, yeah. It just.
I mean,
I just feel. It makes me die inside a little bit when I hear "Don't Stop Believing." I don't know what it is.
It's so bad.
I used to like it at one point in my life. It's a long time ago, but
I just never did. And there is stuff that is in that genre that it's like, oh, this is kind of corny and lame, but also it's good, so I like it.
There's
certainly
melody.
Stuff like that, but that's just not one of those for me. I've never heard it with Journey. It's just been like a dog whistle, if you will.
Well, there's probably some more Philadelphia bands that I'm missing. I'm trying to think here. Looks like we have, what's another one here that people might? Oh, Sister Sledge and Jedi Mind Tricks, which is a great underground hip hop outfit. Yeah, man. So let's go ahead and wrap this guy up. We've been podcasting for a while now. It looks like we're over an hour and 30 minutes. We can
do our basketball one separately.
Yes, yeah. Well, we're gonna do a Trae Young pod. We're gonna do the Game of the Century pod. Yeah. Those are worthy of their own pods. Or we can combine them. We'll see. We'll figure it out. But
okay.
Samuel, it was a pleasure, my friend, as always.
Yeah.